Back when I was young and doing television, everyone had short hair. And my sister-in-law and friends said, "Why don't you cut your hair like everybody else?" And I said, "Well, if you want to be a witch, I don't need a wig. I can just let it out." And that reminds me, we did one show where we were going to do the 3 witches of Mob, and I thought, I'll get dressed at home. So I put my cape on, and I put my hair down, and I put makeup on. I didn't wear a mask. And I went down to the station, and I felt kind of foolish, and I thought, do I apologize or do I go in character? I went in character. I got into the studio. Nobody knew me. I mean, I didn't have a mask on. Nobody knew me. They didn't know who this ugly person was. So those were very exciting days. And we did one show that had it come through, and this is television for children and parents. Frances Starm, she was the head of children's kindergarten Head Start, and she had a series where the children had teachers going into the homes and teaching the children and the mothers how to take care of their children and how to learn. She had little radios so they could listen to a story every day. And then once a week, they would come to the studio, the teachers and the parents, and they would watch a film that I had produced of how to teach children. And I had children that I was teaching. In fact, I wish I remembered all of their names because I'm sure they're adults now. They went to university school, and I would say, "Come on, kids, crawl through these boxes, do these things with balloons." It was a wonderful show, but unfortunately, MPS chose to go with another federally funded program. But had we done that here in Milwaukee and helped young mothers who still were children themselves how to take care of their children and teach creatively and watch good shows on TV, as you've seen today, the world would be a different place right now.
Well, children's television is really a different place right now, too, because there are no local children's television programs available.
Right.
Channel 10 and 36 did, when in my 20 years there, did allow interstitials, which are the little fillers between children's programs, and they did allow and encourage that. But there isn't apparently a lot of support financially to do local children's television show as Joan and Cece and I had done in the past. I did want to say just one thing. There is plenty of children's television out there. There are 18 programs on channels 10 and 36. There's about 20 on all the other sources. However, you will notice that almost all of them are animated. People don't do children's television with live people anymore because live people die. And I really think that ever since Mr. Hooper died on Sesame Street, that it changed their viewpoint as to what you want to have in a children's show because, as I say, puppets go on and on and on and on.
Cece, what was it like being, especially at that time, 1958, being a woman in television?
Well, that's a good question. I actually don't remember it as being a problem. We had we were young teenagers, and sometimes the cameramen were joking a lot, but like Ms. Chris mentioned, sometimes things got a little off, but at that time, we didn't do anything about it, like maybe these days people would. But I don't remember any issues specifically. Do you remember?
Well, I guess, no, I just remember today people who are your age and higher in their 70s. I'm at St. John's on the Lake part-time because I have arthritis and I need to go to water torture every day. But one day a man was pushing his 90-year-old mother. He looked at me in the hall. He said, "Oh," he said, "Miss Crisp, I don't want to look at you." He said, "I see you, and all of a sudden, I'm only 6 years old." And I think this has happened. There are lots of memories, but I think that our age group had trouble in college. I remember my professor, Zingali, saying, "Why are you concerned about what you're doing and learning? You're only a girl, you're going to get married anyway." Well, I didn't marry until I was an old maid until I was 32. And those years were the best years. And I think what we have to do, and I'm preaching, I know, for our young people today is, hey, there's more in life than marriage. Marriage is wonderful. Sex is wonderful. Back in the old days, men, if a gal held out, they married for sex. That's no reason to marry. On the other hand, there is so much more to marriage, and we need to teach our children this. When I was subbing, I would say, you think I could have done television for 11 years, radio for 7, novel, taught? I really laid it on thick. And I said I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, and I never went to bed with a fellow till I married my husband at 32. That last one got them. And I'm saying this to you because marriage is wonderful, but marriage is not the answer to living. I mean, what you do there is up to you, but it certainly isn't what's on television tonight on The Bachelorette. And so we have to be examples to our children because they look up to us. And I think the greatest compliment I ever had was the head of some art center. I went to the opening and he was talking to a fellow. He said, "Hey, you, stay there." And he said to his friend, he said, "See that woman? See that woman?" When I remember when I was 6 years old, running into the kitchen and saying, Mom, come out here. That woman's talking to me. She's not talking to anybody else. She's talking to me. And for the children who feel that way, that those people on television are talking to them, we have a tremendous responsibility. All of us do, whether we're on TV or not, because children are watching and are listening. And the greatest compliment you can have is if your grandchild or your friend recognizes and listens to what you say and tries to be the best person they can be. And
Again, thank you all for coming out. We really appreciate it. Thank you.